Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm showcasing Recoil Master version 5. Obviously, it's been a while since the last video. Since I made that video, I have completely remade pretty much everything in the client from scratch. I got a new PC, so it's easier to work on stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm just going to show you guys real quick just how to get it, how to set everything up, as well as some of the new features and improvements that are in this version of the client. So stick around, stay tuned for that. If you guys like content like this, obviously subscribe and all that stuff. But without further ado, let's get right into the video here. All right, so the download for this is going to be pretty straightforward. Just like the last one, just go to kaipo.org, which is my website. I will link this as well as some other links if you want to download it different ways. But you just click on download client. That's going to take you to a Google Drive link with a zip file just containing the exe file itself. And then just click download anyways. Give that a second to download. Unlike the last few versions, there will be no ads on the download itself. There will be some ads when you launch the application. There might be an ad that plays, but that shouldn't be every single time. Yeah, so now I have this zip file, and I'm just going to create a new folder just so I can extract it in here instead of my desktop. Just right click on it wherever you want and just click extract all, and then click extract. So that is going to make a folder called armv5, and all that is in that is armv5.exe. Okay, so this is the actual client itself. Again, like I said, there will be an installer version of this that I should have ready by the time that this video is uploaded to YouTube, so you can do that instead if you want to do that. If not, all you have to do is just double click on this program right here. You might have something pop up, Windows protected your PC. Windows just doesn't like programs that aren't commonly downloaded, so armv5 is obviously one of those just because I made it and nobody else has used it before. It says unknown publisher, it's me, so just click more info and then run anyway. And then that is going to take you here to the actual client itself. It says to continue playing Recoil Master, or to continue keeping it free, an ad will now play. So again, this is through Loot Labs. I know that there's been a lot of issues with Loot Labs, like just not working sometimes at all. But pretty much what you have to do is just click on this thing. It might pull up something in your browser. It says scroll slowly to discover more and unlock content. Again, I hate to do this, but I have no other way of monetizing this without charging people money to use it, basically. So I'm trying to keep it free. And if you are having issues with the ads, if you just close the program and then reopen it and close it and reopen it enough times, it will not play an ad one of those times, and it'll just get you straight through to the client. So it should be good. And it won't always be these weird ads where you have to like scroll on a page. Like sometimes you'll just have to like watch a video or like click through something, you know. If it tries to get you to download something, I've said this in last videos, just don't download any of the stuff that it's trying to promote. Because you never know with websites like that, if it's trying to get you to download something that's actually malicious. So it looks like first try, this thing already sold the bag on me, so I'm just going to try to restart it here. So this time we actually got one that has a countdown, so we can literally just close out of this and just wait for that. I'm trying to keep this as user-friendly as possible. Like I don't want anybody to inadvertently get something that they don't want on their PC. And this is the closest thing that I can find that aligns with that. So just wait for that timer to get down. Unlock content, and that's just going to take you straight to the client itself. So when the client launches, obviously you have two options. You can either import an existing save file, and this can be older save files like V3, V4, and obviously V5. Or you can start from scratch here. And again, you can load a save file later. This just makes it easier. Since I already have a save file, I'm just going to click import. I'm actually going to turn off some of these There we go. And then import existing. And then it is just my V5 config. So there we go. Just so that I can show you guys some of the stuff that we have set up here. So obviously the operator screen, you have all the operators that you can choose from, and you can switch attack and defense. Again, I personally don't have all of these set up. Just a lot of them that I do use, and you can set these up really easy. I've showcased it in previous videos, but it's actually even easier now. So yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But we also have custom crosshairs, of course. Several pages of these are loaded by default that you can use. A new feature that I did set up is you can change the color. So I personally really like clicking green, which is cool. You can change the size. Again, not much new there, but if we go to settings and we click on outline crosshairs, this doesn't work for all of them, but when I reselect my crosshair here, as you can see, we have a black outline around it. And it works somewhat for most of these. It doesn't look great because there's no like anti-aliasing, but it does help sort of see where you are aiming at sometimes. Every time you exit the client, before you exit, I would make sure to download your save file, because that is all of the stuff here that you have set up, all of your favorites. If you've imported any custom crosshairs, it'll save that. All your settings, keybinds. So yeah, definitely make sure to save before you close out of this. Without further ado, let me just launch the game and I can show you guys some other stuff. So here we are in the latest season. Obviously, I'm not going to show this in a game. Just going to go into shooting range and show you guys. So obviously, when you're in a game, you select your operator. And I'm just going to Alt-Tab back over to the client here just to show you this. And you'll notice if you've seen older versions of the client, this looks a lot different. It might even look a little overwhelming. But you can do some stuff like I can put notes in here. So if I want to remind myself or whoever's using the config to use R4C with compensator and ACOG. Okay, just do that. Right here we have the primary and secondary weapon. And then you'll also notice this right here is sort of our visualizer for what these variables are going to do. And I'll show you why that's helpful in just a second. But really quick, let's just go over how this works. So if I'm on the secondary, it's going to switch the client to the secondary. If I'm selecting primary, we're on primary. Now, of course, in settings, we do have keybinds to switch to these. And like I've said in previous videos, you can't use your scroll wheel to change your weapon because that won't change it. You have to literally use the button that you have selected here. And that has to be the same one that you have in the actual game here. Just so that that's clear. So obviously we're in a game. Let me set my field of view up. So real quick, I'm going to hit P to pause the client and just show you what the recoil looks like without it. Whoa. Right. I'm going to press P on my keyboard again to unpause, and let's just see. Not perfect, but a lot better. What's cool about this client is that it does have it has some built-in RNG so that it is not really detectable. So that's always cool. But yeah, there's that. When I press 2 on my keyboard, it switches to our secondary weapon. And there's also a button down here that is called the rapid fire button. When you click it, you can either set rapid fire to disabled, enabled for weapon 1, or enabled for weapon 2. So obviously I just have it enabled for weapon 2 here, which is my pistol. And it is still moving the pistol -1 on the x-axis and -3 on the y-axis every 0.018 seconds. So that is what that looks like. But it is actually clicking for me. So if I just go ahead and come back here and set this to disabled, and then we try to click, obviously it only clicks one time. But if we enable it for weapon 2, so yeah, it's kind of overpowered. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. If I'm fighting against somebody and they have this on, I'm going to be pretty mad, to say the least. But yeah, it is a cool feature. Another cool feature that is in this version, we have keybinds for something called crouch spam. I think this is actually popularized in like console cheats. I don't really see this too often in PC cheats, but if you press K on your keyboard, which is the default, it does this. And it's kind of weird because you can still do it while you're walking around. You can do various things, and you can actually still shoot. Now, obviously, if you're doing this in a game and somebody sees you doing that, it's going to be pretty obvious that you are using some form of cheats, even if it is like this, which is just soft cheats. It doesn't access the game files at all. It is going to make you suspicious, you know. So use that at your own risk. I mean, use any of this at your own risk, because it is sort of sketch. I mean, it's like almost no recoil on R4C, and then I switched to my secondary, and I have auto shoot basically. But yeah, so that's a pretty cool feature that I think you guys are gonna like. Let me show you some other ways that this is useful. If we switch over to the operator Glass, I have it set up here so that rapid fire is enabled for just the primary weapon, and I'll show you why that is real quick here. So on Glaz's gun, we just turn on that scope, and normally, if we have this disabled, and I actually pause the client, you have to click every single time that you shoot this gun. You know what I mean? So to avoid that, having rapid fire on weapon 1, as well as having it move like that, we're actually able to basically make this automatic. And it's not perfect. Obviously, I have to mess with this every now and then. But it is crazy overpowered. Pretty cool. Just thought I'd show you that because there are some pretty neat applications that you can use for this. I really like playing a zombie, especially on her combat shotgun, and then having the pistol as the secondary. And I'll show you why that is real quick. So I have rapid fire, obviously, for the pistol, which is the secondary weapon. The shotgun is pretty much already automatic. You know what I mean? And ignore this weapon skin I have on and everything. I was just trolling. But now we have the secondary is automatic, and the primary has an ACOG on defense, and that one is automatic as well. So pretty overpowered there. Real quick, let me just go over again how to set up an operator's settings from scratch. So I'm going to switch to that operator. And then what I would do is click this delete button, because that is going to set the Y mount to -1 and the time delay to 0.03 seconds. That's a pretty good speed to start with there. So what we can do is just disable the client by hitting P and then just starting in the middle here. So it looks like it pretty much just goes straight up. So over here, we need essentially how this is, but we need to amplify it by quite a bit. So I'm just going to click negative on the Y a few times, and we'll just see if it's at a point that we want it. unpause the client. I'm sorry. So that's a little too much. So what we can do is increase. And so that we're getting there. So the next thing that I would do when you're getting close is I would just turn down the speed just a little bit. Maybe turn it up now. We'll find like just like a middle ground. And that is pretty good. That is pretty good. So once you have it right in the middle like that, obviously you are good to go. And you can go ahead and do the same thing for the pistol, the secondary weapon. And also what you can do when you're selecting an op, you can sort of look at this recoil pattern to give you kind of an idea. So if it's up and to the left just a tiny bit like that, we are going to, in the client, want a slope that is down and to the right just a little bit, just so that it negates that slope. Okay, so on the secondary, like I said, we want it down and to the right a little bit, so I might do +1, and then we'll try -4, and then we might have to turn that down a little bit, and then down here on the rapid fire, set that to weapon 2. So that seems a little too much, a little too quick, which means we can just turn the time delay up. And the pistols are sort of hard to get them perfect, just because there's always a little inaccuracy. But that is the gist of it. So that is pretty good. You don't want it to be perfect because then it is borderline detectable. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You want it just a little bit off. But that is pretty good. I do like that. And like I said, periodically you want to save just in case something crashes. So I'm just going to save it to my desktop here. And again, that saves all my settings, so I'm good to go for next time. We do have favorite operators, so it says right here middle click while hovering an operator. So if I really like Ash and I want her on my favorites, just middle click. That'll put Ash right here. I can just click on it like normal. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, if you want to change any of these buttons here, for example, if you want to set the crouch spam to your C button, it will be a little slower than having it set to a different button, but it will still work nonetheless. So that's cool. I keep mine on something else. For crouch spam to function correctly, make sure that your keybind is set to C for crouch. So when you're in C, you press the C button, that should make you crouch. It can't be any other button or that won't work at all. So just keep that in mind. We do have additional settings. You can mute or unmute all of the sounds made on the client. And you can also show the FPS here, and you can actually change this. If you have a higher end computer, you can set it to whatever you want really. That'll just make everything on the client run a bit faster. If the client is using too much CPU or it's just lagging your game, you can obviously set this down to something like 30 and it'll still be pretty much usable. It looks a little laggier, but everything will function in the same way pretty much. So another thing that we have here, you can import custom crosshairs, which was a thing in the last few versions. It does just look a little better now because you can actually change the color. But on these custom ones, you can actually see like a preview of it, and you can still change the size, the opacity, as well as the color. So if I want to make this red, boom, it's red.
Take a breath.
And I like this one because it almost looks like the 1.5 scope when you're using it. You know what I mean? Oh geez, hold on. But yeah, so not a whole lot of new stuff. Obviously just a lot of quality of life features and things that make this easier to use. Obviously it still has some bugs in it, and some stuff will occasionally stop working. You just have to restart the client again and reload your save file just like normal. So just keep that in mind. This is still beta. I'll be trying to roll out some fixes for stuff here in the next few days. But for the most part, everything works. So that's always cool. So I will leave a link to this in the description, which is essentially... actually, let me just close out of this real quick. But this is essentially where I have the Python file, which I converted into the .exe file for this. So this is all the code that is inside of the client. So there is a library that is being used that moves your mouse, that is with C types, but this is how it moves your mouse and does so in a way that isn't detectable directly. And that is because it is pretty much pretending to be a raw mouse movement input, as if you had an actual mouse plugged in. If your computer does think that this is a virus, it is just because it does some things like A, move your mouse, B, detect when you're pressing buttons such as the primary hotkey, pause key, secondary hotkey, the crouch key. But yeah, so just know this isn't malicious at all. Windows just doesn't like when programs sort of do that kind of stuff on your computer, like move your mouse, detect where your mouse is at, detect things like that. It's not like reading anything and sending information over to some other server or something. This is all just happening on your computer. So keep that in mind. It's all safe to use. And I know that because I've written it all myself from scratch with the help of ChatGPT. So should be legit, unless ChatGPT is trying to give you a virus, and then we got issues. Because, yeah. But yeah, like I said, if you guys do like this sort of content and you want to support future videos and future versions and updates, go ahead, drop a like and subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, or even things that I should add in the future, let me know about it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.